Do you feel
can
like
see
anybody
stuff.
can be a salesperson?
If you learn the right skills, yeah.
Anybody. I could take Grandma Smith, who's 91 years old.
Let me know, anybody watching or listening, were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced questioning skills? Unlikely. Were you born with advanced tonality? Unlikely.
I literally woke up this
I know
morning and I said,
nothing.
I know nothing.
And that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
The moment your ego takes over where you feel like you know everything is the moment you're just digressing.
Honestly, I've been a big fan of what you built. I mean, Ancestry.com is insane. And for me, when I turned 16 years old, my grandparents would give me a big genealogy book. It was massive. Like it looked like a scroll. You had to do one of these types of things like, you know, and then all the genealogy changed when Ancestry.com came out, and they were doing everything manually for all these years and going back into our ancestry forever. And my uncle went on and on and on and on about your company when it first came out, and just like how this is going to change the world and people have no idea. So I was really excited to have you here. And then Jeremy is a good friend of mine. I love Jeremy. And I'm like, how the heck are you guys
How did it all happen?
collaborating and like hanging out with each other? It obviously you didn't go on your missions together. So
Yeah.
how did you guys pair up with each other? I know you guys are launching some AI, right?
We are.
How did you guys pair up with each other?
How did it happen? 7 months ago?
It was January or February of this year.
Yeah.
Someone on Jeremy's team had heard him talk about AI. We need to do AI. We need to do a Jeremy AI. We need to like scale up all the things that I'm teaching. You're limited in how many people you can actually personally coach and teach.
Sure.
And so they were out looking for an AI call recording tool like an Otter or a Fireflies or a Fathom, but that was private labelable and customizable so that you could actually turn it into a dedicated sales training AI.
Okay.
And we happen to be maybe the only company that has a call recording tool that can be private labeled, paired with training. A complete methodology can be embedded into it so that game film can be analyzed after every call, and personalized coaching can. So they found us. And when we found out Jeremy was from Utah Valley University and like all these reasons why we should get together. So we started meeting in, I think, March or April. It was an immediate match, perfect fit from a business model standpoint. And now today we're announcing 7Q.AI,
7Q.AI,
which will allow
basically training you one-on-one now.
Yeah. Jeremy will be able to take his methodology and his expertise to millions of people, personalized training after any call. They can ask him any question. It's drawing from tens of thousands of hours of his materials. It's super cool. It's the coolest thing I've ever done in AI. And I'm just glad we found each other somehow.
The problem that it solves for your customer, right? Your customer feels like, hey, I've got to wait for Jeremy to give me an answer, or somebody on Jeremy's team to give me an answer, or I have to go search through thousands of hours of content manually. And humans hate friction. So the second they feel any friction, they pull back and they go, nobody wants to help me, or what have you.
Yeah.
So essentially, Jeremy AI, you guys are calling it 7Q.
7Q.AI. It's basically me training an individual or anybody one-on-one.
Okay.
So it's like, we have a training program called Advanced Inner Circle. And that's like a high-level program. We only let about 60 people a month in that because we keep those group trainings
I've been trying
small.
to get in, dude. I was like trying to be number 61. He told me.
Well, there you go. I know. So we keep them small because those are all industry specific, where I train you how to tie an APQ to your industry, right? And so it's great, but we can't have like groups of like 60,000 on there. So I'm like, how do I duplicate myself? Because I can go license out trainers all over the world in different countries that speak different languages. That's going to take a while. And then lo and behold, AI comes out.
And then you're dealing with also humans as well, which is challenging because then you'll have people that will rip off your content,
and they don't understand it.
They don't understand it. They have a different personality flow. They essentially transcribe it differently, and then they apply
how
it
they do
differently.
it, different content. Because you could. Tony Robbins said it best. You can steal somebody's content, but you can never steal their wisdom and their experience.
Right.
And that's what makes the content work, right? Because if you don't understand the psychology behind it or why you're doing it, it'd be like somebody trying to mimic what you do, but they're just watching free YouTube videos. Like they're not going to master real estate investing. But if they had your brain and they could ask you questions every single day for the next 20 years, more than likely probably going to be really successful. So I wanted to be able to find a way where instead of one Jeremy Miner, there's like, 1 million Jeremy Miners to train each individual. So that's what I
think the world needs a million Jeremy Miners.
Well, we're getting there.
I mean, really what you teach, honestly, Dean Graziosi, you and I are good friends with him.
Yeah.
Says sales is a service, which when I first met him 7 years ago, he's like, where are you stuck? And I'm answering these questions to him. And I go, well, I have these things that I want to sell, but I feel X, Y, and Z about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, sales is a service. And when I got to know you, I watched what your service really is it gets people to get what they want in life.
Yeah.
They literally are just training.
People want to buy.
People want to buy.
Yeah.
They don't want to be sold,
They
but
want to
they
learn
do want
what
to.
you have.
Right.
Yeah.
And your ability to communicate that to them gets them off the couch and into action, or gets them to buy the thing or whatever it is and actually transform their life. So you don't want 1 million non-Jeremy miners. You want 1 million Jeremy miners.
Yeah.
So when does this launch?
It's launched
Right now, today.
Okay, cool. So who is the ideal customer for this?
Well, we train every industry. So we're, there's 163 verticals out there. We're in all those verticals. We're in the subcategories of those, like your industry would be classified as real estate. So that's our second biggest industry to train, but that would be like real estate agents, commercial residential. It'd be considered investors that call distressed properties.
Right.
So it's really for anybody that sells or
is it for
anything.
the individual or is it for a team?
It's for both.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
We already have some of our, I think NBC is one of our clients. We had them beta test it the last 2 months. We also had that, that big capital raising company is working with Jimmy Swagger, beta test it. So it's for companies, it's for individuals.
There will be versions of it for door to door, for on your phone. There will be right now it works great with the Zoom or Teams or Google Meet call recordings. The bot goes and records everything, and then after the call you get a debriefing, you get feedback, and then you can do interactive questions of Ask Jeremy. So it's both responsive to you, but also proactive and helping you up level your game and implement
so
things correctly.
You could go in for your industry, just any industry, like I am an investor and I'm cold calling these properties in this area of Georgia. What would Jeremy say in the first 30 seconds? Be very specific. What would Jeremy say in cold calling to disarm the prospect? What would be his first 3 questions? And it pulls from trainings I've done on that for your industry and pulls that up in text form, shows you what to say exactly. And then it says, for more training on this, go here. And it clicks in and it actually trains him, goes to that training where I did that. It could have been live. It could have been on Zoom. It could have been in a virtual training board, and takes them to that. That's how detailed.
Okay,
so tens of thousands of hours of training materials that it gives you the text info, and then it links you to the best clip. And this uses search engine technology similar to Ancestry. Like you're working through billions of records, in this case, tens of thousands of hours. Every word's been transcribed. It's all searchable and clippable. And so the AI is knowing what you need next. And that's what it presents to you.
So let's say I'm on a call. Feature. Let's say I make a call to a seller and I've got my phone open and I've got my computer listening to me. Can it also help me with real-time understanding how to respond to the seller, or is that something
that's on the roadmap?
It's on the roadmap.
Yeah.
Okay,
Real-time isn't in place today, but it's becoming more and more feasible to do real-time.
It's probably 6 months out on that. So basically we're training how to read not just the tonality of the salesperson, but also the tonality of the prospect in real time. So you know how I talk about you have to master
people
listening.
Are so unaware of this, Jeremy. I'm telling you,
they are.
You and I have high emotional intelligence, so I watch other people making calls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are missing everything that's going on.
You're saying the right words, but it's how you're saying it. I can say the same words you are, but how I say it, my tone determines if they accept it or not, right? So we're teaching it how to listen to what the prospect means, not just what they say, right? Because they could say like, I could say like, hey, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? Like, yeah. You know, and kind of give a nonchalant answer. What would most salespeople do? Okay, let me show you to get started.
Let me move forward. Oh, that's a yes.
I'm not ready. I didn't say I was ready. But I'd be like, well, you seem a bit hesitant when I ask you that. What's behind that? What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just concerned about, and now the guard's down, but
this is
that
huge because what it does is it takes all the living room experience I have and it condenses it into this little thing that tells people, hey, like for you, all your experience, you've been in hundreds of living rooms when you were in Ireland, all the way through all your other sales skills, on thousands and thousands of phone calls through all sorts of different dynamic industries. and you've learned patterns of human beings. Plus you're formally trained as
You
well.
recognize patterns. Yeah.
You recognize patterns. And when a seller says, let's say I'm talking to a seller, it's in foreclosure, and you go, so, does $200,000 make sense for you? Yeah.
They're not about it.
Is different than, yeah.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, exactly.
And somebody who's brand new that's not trained or doesn't have this will go, amazing. I'm going to send over the contract.
And then
They get ghosted, and they come to me and they go, why am I getting ghosted? They said yes, Jeremy.
Yeah. It's how they said yes.
Right.
It's like if you're on the phone, it's their tone, how they said yes. If you're in person, you can recognize the patterns in their facial expressions, their body language, and their tone tells you if they're really in or out.
It's a game changer for people that don't want to go through 10 years of agony like you. And
probably like 20 years.
Yeah, maybe 20 years.
It's going to save you about 20 years of your life.
Right. It'll save you a lot. I mean, you're still going to have to go through things and practice and put the work in. That bears the question of like, where does that leave salespeople in 10 years? I believe, tell me if you think I'm wrong here, it will be a superpower to be a salesperson that is so distinguishable from AI, where you can build real relationships. I think AI will further advance the sales world, because if you're good at person to person, you are going to dominate in the future. What do you guys think?
Well, we all know human beings don't make decisions logically. They make decisions emotionally. There's no debate in brain science on that. So like with AI, like if I'm a human and I recognize patterns and I can shift my tone based on just him flinching his eyes right now, or like him being a little bit set back, or him like grimacing, I can completely dominate compared to AI that like technically can't do that yet. That doesn't mean that companies aren't going to come to us to have us teach their AI how to do that, but it's the emotional connection. Tony Robbins says it the best. I like to take it a step further. He says, in order to master persuasion, influence, sales, you're mastering the emotional connection with that other human being, where they feel like you understand them, like their needs, their desires, their wants, and even their fears. And you're doing that without buying into their story. Right. If you buy into their story, like their limiting beliefs on why they can't do it, or why they can't get the money, or why they can't accept the offer, then you offer them no value.
Right.
So I have to be able to do that where they feel like I understand them without judging them. If they feel like I'm judging them, then they're going to be defensive. So it's that emotional connection, and that's a human to human interaction. Do I believe AI will replace like people calling to schedule your haircuts, people calling like that type of stuff? Yes, for sure. But high level sales, it's not going to replace that. There's going to be a lot of regulation too.
I think that we're about to embark in unprecedented change with millions, or some people say billions of robots. AI.
Physical robots?
Yeah, physical robots combined with AI, computer vision, language, all that stuff. I grew up watching the Jetsons cartoon, and all that science fiction is coming true. I think what you said about human to human is going to become extraordinarily important, and it will distinguish super successful people who aren't just, I remember when Ryan Smith from Qualtrics, I had a group of leaders from Gallup visit him at his Qualtrics office in 2015. And Gallup had a sales force, hundreds of consultants selling all over the world. And Ryan basically made the point that most of our 90% of our revenue came from no salespeople, no interaction. It was all online, subscribe, upsell. We didn't have a human in the loop at all. Okay, businesses can scale without a human in the loop. Gallup is a trusted firm, and their humans in the loop are extremely important. And I just think there are, like you said, customer service, lots of things can be automated. Really important things will happen human to human, and sales people with high emotional intelligence and the ability to relate and connect at a human level will become way more important and way more successful than today, because the alternative will be automation, digital, inauthentic. It's just like
more surface level,
not as real.
Okay, so real life example, and I'm going to follow it. This is going to be a long 3-minute story of something that happened last week, and then I have a question at the end. So I do a daily stand-up with my students. I have like 1,000 of them come in every morning. Call it a jam session. I'm like, whatever problem you have, let's jam. Bring it to me. I'll solve it. I'll call a seller for you. I'll get my attorney involved in the thing that you're doing. Let's just jam together. So I have a brand new student named Arthur, generates a lead. So kudos to him taking action. He comes in and he goes, hey, Pace, the seller is open to selling this RV park in Arizona on seller finance. How do I structure the deal? I'm like, Arthur, that's the wrong question to ask. if I don't know what their emotional baggage is and what they're dealing with and why they want to sell the property in the first place, are they trying to retire? Are they going through a divorce? Do they have a death in the family? He goes, I didn't ask any of those questions. Okay. All right. Well, you skipped some of the training, obviously.
Yeah.
So Jeremy.ai would help out with this. I know it's 7Q, but
yeah.
So I go, let me just call him right now. So I get on the phone with the broker and I get on the phone with one of the sellers. And within 30 seconds, obviously I'm trained, right? I learned things from this man right here. I'm trained to extract information based on where they're at in their life. And I did not talk about the asset whatsoever.
Yeah.
Did not talk about the RV park. I talked about what's going on in your life. Why would you sell this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I set the appointment. What was interesting is I got a ton of information on the phone call. And Arthur's watching this happen. And so are 1,000 people watching it live. Arthur's like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, there's this thing called 7Q.ai. It's freaking amazing. So I get all this information. I set the appointment. Then I go on the appointment. And now they already trust me. I go see them eyeball to eyeball, molecule to molecule, belly to belly. And it's a whole other level that I just don't think AI is going to get to for a while. But this does lead me into my question. So I go to them in person and I always ask, can I record this appointment on video? Because of course I might want to make content from it. Seller says, no, I don't want to be on video. Cool. So what do? I record on voice memo and I put my phone in my pocket and I record the entire conversation. It's a 2.5 hour thing.
Yeah.
Going through divorce, abusive, this, that, and the other. Here's this property makes money, but I just have trauma here, and here. Obviously I've gained her trust.
Yeah.
So I'm getting all this information brought in. It's all on my phone. Will you be able to? Because there's going to be roof salespeople. There's going to be pest control salespeople. I see probably life insurance is probably got to be in your top 5.
That's
clients.
our largest industry trends, life insurance.
Okay.
Real estate second.
And life insurance is one of these things. It's a big ticket item. It's a big investment. And it has emotional involvement at a very high level, even higher than real estate.
Every sale has emotional.
Of course, but like
once you
life
learn
insurance
how.
is right.
Yeah.
So I go on an appointment, whether it's life insurance or this appointment I went on in the RV park. Can I take that recording, upload it into your guys' AI and say, please tell me where I screwed up, what I can do next, what's my follow-up?
That's call reviews.
Okay.
So I'm the one reviewing it now, not like one of my trainers, which they're great, not somebody in your office that is kind of learning how to do it, but it's my brain reviewing that call. So I believe we have the automation almost set up with the call recorder where the app like just goes right in, where you don't even have to upload it yourself.
Oh, that's great.
So it's pretty cool. So I think that might be a few days away. Don't quote me on that. So basically it'll show you, I will review everything you said in there and it'll basically show you what you did well. So you keep doing what you do well. Because here's a big mistake most salespeople make. I always ask this question, what's the biggest problem in sales? The problem that you don't know you have.
Oh, the black swan.
That's the biggest problem.
All day, yeah.
Because a lot of salespeople like, oh my gosh, I'm messing up. I need to change this. But they don't realize the thing they changed was actually the thing they were doing good. They just sucked at everything else. So if you don't know what your problem is you're like guessing what to change.
Yeah.
And that's not a winning formula, right? That'd be like trying to guess what you're doing wrong in the real estate transaction. But if you have somebody there to tell you like, oh, you're doing this well, keep doing that exactly. That was perfect. Right here at that 3-minute and 35-second mark, did you see how they said something to you and you got really defensive? And did you see how their guard was up the entire time? If you had said that back in this tone, like more concerned, they would have opened up and you would have won that deal. It gets very specific.
It is interesting. We talk a lot. You're an educator. I'm an educator. And in a lot of ways, you're an educator too. You're out there creating content, putting stuff out there and teaching people. And the question is always like, well, if somebody watches Jeremy Miner's YouTube channel, what is the percentage of people that will end up being successful from that? And I'm like, well, the YouTube audience is different than people that are in a private setting that have hand holding and help and all that kind of stuff. So let's just talk about YouTube. You look at YouTube, there's no ability for a new person to go through uncertainty and stick with it. They have a hard time with that, right?
Yeah.
They're not getting live feedback. And so it's like, well, I've knocked 45 doors.
Yeah.
I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to tell them what they're doing wrong.
You don't know the biggest problem in sales is the problem you don't have. And it's like when people, and I feel bad for them, I call them the dabblers. So the dabblers believe in this lie that if they follow like somebody like me or you, like from free basic content, that somehow eventually they'll figure it out on their own, right? Which we all know that strategy takes years, if not decades to
Why
ever
am
get.
I not an NBA athlete if I've been watching basketball my whole life? Like,
Yeah.
like you can't just watch people do things.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't translate into your actions at all.
Yeah.
But if I'm actually performing, if I'm
Yeah.
actually on the court and I'm recording it and getting game film afterwards and have an expert coach and an analyst telling me what I did well. Oh, you crushed it on that one. And then what I did wrong. Or in football, what play did we call? And did I do my blocking the way I was supposed to?
Yeah.
Like, the world is craving game film on your own performance, not just endlessly consuming, thinking it's going to make you better. You actually need feedback. And Jeremy can provide
the right feedback. I always say, like Michael Jordan said it best. He said, you can shoot 1,000 jump shots a day, but if you're taught the wrong technique, or if your technique is off, you're still going to suck at basketball. That's why Michael Jordan has a coach, right? That can actually coach him through that. But like even the stuff on YouTube, it's like they'll watch you do something, but they don't understand the context. They don't understand what happened before that. Like that would make that question actually stick. They don't understand everything that goes on before. They don't understand like what happens if you ask this question and it doesn't land and they say this. Well, now you got to loop back around and do this. That's why you would want to get in our training courses or AI, because it tells you everything. So YouTube like gives you like a half, maybe a quarter of 1% of the whole puzzle, and the other 99% you're guessing.
I tell people that YouTube is to show you what's possible.
Just like a book.
That's
a book is an overview of an opportunity that can happen for you. That's how I read books. I love books, but I know I'm not going to master anything from a book. Does a neurosurgeon master brain surgery from a book? Does an athlete master anything from a book? I mean, tell me anybody who's mastered anything from a book.
I tell them when we sold a couple 100,000 of my last book, and people go, I bought your book. I go, I'm sorry.
It's a good start. It's a good overview.
I'm glad you know that the thing exists, but like, have you taken action? And the answer very often is no, I haven't taken action. Like, well, the book didn't really do much for you.
Because it doesn't have enough, like, first of all, a book, you can't retain it because it's just words, right? I think we talked about last time I was on your show, like you could, think about your favorite song. Like the church song that you were singing in the car, the
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace. So you could say every word of that song. Now, what's your favorite book? What's one of your favorite books you've ever read? Just one of them.
Soar with Your Strengths.
Okay. So the average page of a book has about 330 words on it. The average song also has about 330 words on it. So why can your brain retain a song, but it can't retain even one page of that book, word for word?
Tell me. Melodies?
Because of
practice?
The melody and the tone, your brain recognizes tonality and melody. It's a pattern. So it recognizes patterns and it helps you memorize it. With a book, there's no patterns. You're just reading words.
Right.
Even in an audio, it's different because typically when you have to sit there and read the book as the author, like in the audio, you can't be like, now make sure your tone sounds like this, or now you got to go like you. It's just different. So you can't retain it. And like I said, the book is just an overview of what's possible.
I wonder how many words Jesus Wants Me for a Sunbeam has in it. probably 42 words.
For a little bit less.
That's the kind of song I can remember.
That's the song I remember. Yeah.
Honestly, this is a game-changing situation because for the people that end up using this, it will take people from here to here. And people not using it will be here going, why am I losing out on all my prospects? Why am I losing all these appointments? Why am I not closing? What's happening?
They just have an advantage over everybody.
That's a significant advantage.
Sure. Yeah.
My worry, especially you're a platform entrepreneur. You've done some pretty freaking cool things. In fact, like you've gone back from, probably 20, how long would this have been when you were burning things to CD-ROM and selling them on CD-ROM?
1990.
I think I remember in a story one time that you met the guy that originally invented the first cell phone.
I did.
Like you've been around.
Dr. Martin Cooper spoke in San Francisco, and he invented it in 1973. And he actually was at Motorola Labs, and he walked out onto the Lexington and 56th Street in New York City. He had just made a working cell phone. He called the AT&T people and taunted them. And so anyway, I met him. I met Mark Andreessen, the inventor of the Netscape web browser. I've met Mark Zuckerberg. I haven't met Bill Gates in person, but my brother has. There are platforms that have developed over these decades, and I'm in awe of the people that build these platforms. And I'm just a platform entrepreneur because I apply the platform, and I don't think there's anything for me after AI. I think about floppy disk, CD-ROM, MP3, World Wide Web, Facebook as a platform. We built an app that got 120 million users there. It's kind of a rush when you've done two companies that got over 100 million users, And I'm actually looking forward to
That's
Ask Jeremy
crazy.
scaling to 100 million people, whether it's only when we apply it in sales worldwide in all those
Well,
languages.
1 out of
or
every 8 people
other
on the
field.
planet is in sales.
Are
That
you
actually
kidding me?
that sell something.
Wow.
1 out of every 8 people walking on this planet
So
in
it
every
could
country.
scale to 100 million
For
or
sure.
more.
And that's without like the mom that wants to learn how to have better relationship with their kids,
Yep,
or
yep.
you know, it's attorneys have to have clients, you know, chiropractors, like it's everything.
What an amazing
Everything's
opportunity.
sold.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Communication, effectiveness, and emotional.
Politicians, you know, what causes wars? Lack of communication.
Okay, so it kind of brings the dark side of AI though a little bit. Meaning, think about all the sales trainers that you're going to put out of business.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I like having other sales trainers. Do you know why? Because I look at myself as I look at it as like the auto industry. You have car dealerships and then you have mechanics. So the more car dealerships out there and car manufacturer makes more cars, that means more of those cars break down and they have to take them to the mechanic. So the more sales trainers are out there that maybe don't develop those type of skills yet or whatever, they don't get the results they want, and then they have to go to the auto mechanic shop to get fixed. So the more sales trainers out there in my mind just brings me more business because I'm the mechanic.
If I were a sales manager, sales leader, or a trainer, I would want to master NEPQ and this AI, and I would want to coach. I would want to watch game film with my team, because if I've got 10 or 20 years more experience than they do, and they're new and they're learning this and they're getting AI coaching from Jeremy, that's great. But they also still need me to point out the importance of what Jeremy AI just said. I actually think there's a pretty robust set of participants
we're
in this
actually doing
ecosystem.
some licensing deals with some other trainers, like, because a lot of sales trainers, and I love
So
them
would
to
they
death.
want to white label what you've built?
We're doing like licensing deals. We
So
haven't
they'll
got
license
the white
your
labeling.
brand.
Yeah, it's licensing
Okay,
our
cool.
brand to help them like scale. Because a lot of these guys, I love them to death. Sometimes they'll even, like, we've had people that came and worked for us, sold for like 1 year. That was their first sales job. Then they got up to like 30 grand a month. Now they're a sales trainer. Well, that sounds great, but the wisdom and you just don't have the wisdom and experience. You don't know what you don't know. And you've only sold one thing. You gotta have sold like a lot of different things and get a lot of, because to recognize patterns, it takes years,
Right?
thousands of sales conversations to start recognizing human behavior and patterns. And that's me being trained in it. I went to school to become a psychologist. I was literally trained in it. So if you're not trained in it and you don't have hardly any experience, even if you did halfway decent, your clients are just getting the bad end of the stick because you don't have the nuances that somebody that, like, I sold in the trenches for 18 years at a really high level. So I've seen everything, just like you, right?
Do you feel
can
like
see
anybody
stuff.
can be a salesperson?
If you learn the right skills, yeah.
Anybody. I could take Grandma Smith, who's 91 years old.
Yeah. Because sales is not something like, let me know, anybody watching or listening, were you born out of your mother's womb with advanced questioning skills? Unlikely. Were you born, with advanced tonality? Unlikely. Were you born with advanced objection handling and prevention skills? Unlikely. These are acquired skills you learn. Just like, were you born a real estate investor? No, you had to learn the skills it takes.
I'm still learning the skills.
Well, that's what I had Dean on my show a couple months ago, and we were talking about, like, I love him and Tony Robbins' approach, because I think we're all similar. It's like, I know nothing. I'm a student.
I literally woke up this morning and I said,
nothing.
I know nothing.
And that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
The moment your ego takes over, where you feel like you know everything, is the moment you're just digressing.
Okay, so going into skills, I know there's a psychologist that you really like. He's very overlooked. What was his name again?
Dr. Donald O. Clifton from Nebraska.
And he talked about strengths, finding your strengths, correct?
He was the inventor of the field of psychology that focuses on talents and strengths instead of what's wrong with people. And he's been called the grandfather of positive psychology. He influenced all the positive psychologists in the last 3 decades.
What would you say to the audience about everything you've learned about that man? Would it be to go read a book, or, hey, here's the top 3 things I've learned from this guy? I think most people are suffering from, I don't know what I should be focusing on. I don't know what my skills are. So how would you address those people?
So my father taught at the university level for 40 years. He was in manufacturing engineering. And as he got older and watched his students go off into careers and stuff, he realized that there was one thing that every single student he ever had should really know. And that is, what are they uniquely talented at?
Right. How do people figure
And
that out?
he would ask all of his students to ask your mom or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or a family or a friend to tell me what I'm really good at. So that's what he did in the last few years of teaching. When I encountered Dr. Don Clifton's StrengthsFinder assessment in 2012, I took it. It blew my mind. I read 5 pages about me. I'm like, this knows me better than my wife, my mother, my best friend. I was so in awe of how accurate it was. It reminded me, since we were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of getting my patriarchal blessing when I was 16. It's like, tells you what your talents are, what your purpose is, what your
possibilities
exist. So I actually thought StrengthsFinder is a patriarchal blessing for the billions of people who don't necessarily belong to my faith. And so I got obsessed about it. So what I would say is, take the assessment,
the Clifton Strengths test,
the Clifton Strengths assessment for $20 or $25. And then start having conversations with your family, with your friends, and find a strengths coach that can help you. And then just try to not just put it on the shelf and say, oh, that was interesting. I actually think I'm talented now. Use those talents every day.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue with the 35 million people that have taken Clifton Strengths, is that they're not using it as an operating system to guide their career journey, what they end up doing, how they relate to the world. And Don Clifton saw that human potential is the most important asset in the world, and it's the most underdeveloped, because most of us go through school not ever discovering what we're talented at. If you're an athlete, you're talented. If you're a singer, you're talented. If you're a dancer, you're talented. No one ever told me, Paul, in 9th grade or 12th grade, you have input. You should use input to gather information and dispense it to other people. Like, the word input has never been equated with talent.
Well, what's interesting about Clifton Strengths is if you look at your top 10 or whatever input is in your top 10.
It's my number 2. Learner, input, ideation.
Okay.
Like, this test explained everything I've ever done
Ideation
in business.
makes a lot of sense for you.
It does.
You can't stop.
I can't stop. Even though Jeff Bezos says, he had a mentor at Amazon that says, Jeff, you have enough ideas to kill Amazon. So Jeff
I just read this.
I read this.
It was so good.
On Startup Archive or something on X. It was so good. I printed it out. I shared it with my whole team, and I said, sorry, everyone. I need to do the Jeff Bezos framework and say, turn down your
probably
ideation.
Have this problem too.
Or
did you read this?
Lists of ideas, and then release them into the organization as it has capacity to handle them.
Yeah,
don't distract them into.
By far my biggest problem.
That's my biggest
me
problem
too.
It's like you have all these ideas.
This, and I'm like trying to frame it to.
And you can see in 4D Technicolor, and you can see how the things and the silos you're already building,
how they all fit.
That this idea actually amplifies all of them.
Yeah,
but your team can't handle that the same way because they can't see that vision, right? So in my mind, I'm like, well, I just need to broadcast my vision better.
Yeah.
Which means more conversations and more meetings and more this.
My wife is a Gallup certified strengths coach. And I told her in a coaching session a few years ago, like, I can see a 30-story building in its fine detail. I know exactly what we're trying to build here at SOAR. And I can't get my team to get past the first and second floor. 100%. And she says, you don't need to. Just make sure everyone on the first floor knows what the second floor looks like. Yeah. Make sure everyone on the second floor knows what the third floor. Yeah. Just keep that vision, but don't expect everyone. And I'm so excited about new ideas. There's a book called What Do You Do with an Idea? It's a children's book. And I read it and I got teary-eyed, because every idea is like a child that you love or a stewardship that you have. And you can't get rid of these ideas. They follow you around until you do something with them. Yeah. I have a friend who read the same book, and she has the same exact top 5 strengths as I do. And she had the exact same reaction. Like, ideas are a gift and a stewardship, and you can't pretend they don't exist.
Can't suppress
but as Jeff Bezos learned, find a way to release them into the org at the right time and place.
Yeah.
Have you taken Clifton Strengths?
I have not, but I'm going to.
Okay. So input is not even in my top. It's 26 for me.
Okay. What are your top?
What's wrong with me, Paul?
No. You are different than me, and I need you and you need me.
What's right with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I already know my top 5. I took this test 3 years ago, and I've let it. Did we have you do it today? We hired a coach for our whole team.
Oh, way to go.
So cool.
That's
and
awesome.
we not only did we do it for our individual gals, we also did it as a team. Did you do it as a team too?
Team.
So the Clifton Strengths, again, this is great advice for you guys in YouTube land. If you're like, I'm stuck. Well, do you even know who you are? Right.
Yeah.
My favorite quote of all time, Shakespeare says, know thyself. If you know yourself, you'll know how you're going to wake up in the morning, what you're excited about. And I see people go, well, I want to be exactly like Jeremy Minor. Well, first off, dude's kind of handsome. You're like screwed on that. Okay. So stop trying to be him and try and be you. In fact, the world freaking needs you. Yeah. The world needs you at your best, because otherwise if I'm trying to build a house, I don't need 50 hammers. Yeah. I need a screwdriver, a hammer, an air compressor. I need a wheelbarrow. I need all of the proper tools. And when you're assembling a team, you're like, I need you to be the best you absolutely are, right? Okay. So here's mine. Activator. I am obsessed with activating other people to their best form. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I cannot stop. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I want to activate other people. Strategic, I think 7, 10, 12 years in advance. How does this impact this? And domino effect. I think most visionaries have strategic probably in their top 10, 15, I would imagine. Futuristic, developer. And this one is massive for me because I run the largest real estate community in the world. Includer. Wow. I love including people. I come from I don't know if this was, I was born this way or it was my environment, but I'm LDS, so, or Mormon for you guys that don't know what that is. You're like, is that an STD?
Latter-day Saint.
A drug, maybe?
Yeah. People do think it's a drug sometimes. They're like, are you on drugs? So I grew up in a family of 12 kids and I'm number 3. So I love community aspects and feeling that way. And then of course, when you go to our church, you're in Boy Scouts, you go to Mutual, young men and women's, you've got Eagle projects, you've got campouts, and then you have church. And then you have home teaching assignments. Then you go on a mission. And even on your mission, you are paired with another human being.
Number one question I get every day is, how do I get everything done? I have 9 companies, 600 employees. We have customers all over the globe. We're doing fix and flips. We're doing buy and holds, apartments, RV parks, all of those things. Everybody wonders, how did I scale? How did I get to a higher level? And the answer is that. GoHighLevel. I use a CRM that allows all of my customers to come into one database. And instead of me hiring more employees to go and do all the follow-up, GoHighLevel has systems and automations that does all of that for me. So not only can I have my employees focus on higher end tasks, money-making tasks, GoHighLevel avoids all of the extra payroll. When you're brand new, having GoHighLevel is like having 5 different employees doing all the work for you just for a monthly fee. Go to GoHighLevel.com/pace to learn how I'm using it, not only in my lending business, but my wholesale business, my fix and flip business. Literally, GoHighLevel controls the entire back end of all 9 of my companies. Go to GoHighLevel.com/pace to learn more.
So I don't know if I developed Includer or if it was the way I was born.
Includer is my 34th.
Interesting.
I grew up in the same faith. I had a total of 8 kids in the family. When I realized Includer was at the very lowest, I thought, oh, well, I don't think I've invited a friend to do anything since high school.
Okay.
Like,
I have a hard time doing things with just myself.
I would go to the basketball game. I'd be like, hey, honey, I'm going to the basketball game down the street. I lived a block from the BYU basketball stadium. And she's like, do you want to take some of the kids? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. But it wasn't like I was thinking about
This is good for your spouse to be aware of too.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm not a this
is the way I think.
This is the way I naturally am turned on.
When she found out I have learner number 1, she was so annoyed that I order books on Amazon literally every day. And then when she realized that books are oxygen, like I need to read part of a book every day, I like find a new author, like it's as important, it's oxygen for me, just like empathy and restorative, like sensing emotions and fixing them is her top 2. So all of a sudden you start to realize how a person's wired. Your strengths basically tell you who you are when you wake up, and you can't turn it off.
Yeah,
this is your patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that are naturally recurring patterns that can be productively applied if you choose to use them.
Okay, so this is interesting, and I know nothing about developing apps. That's not my world. But I look what you guys are building, and I'm like, okay, I wonder if there's Clifton's strengths could be applied to what you guys are also building, and maybe it's on the roadmap.
Talking about that.
Okay, because
we didn't accidentally call our AI company SOAR AI Studio. Don Clifton's first book was called SOAR with Your Strengths. My aspiration is to partner with Gallup and to bring a Strengths Finder and then to weave it into all the other products with our partners. So I think it's on the table. We hope that it will happen. It's super important that I think that all the world's knowledge, wisdom, and advice is great, but it has to be filtered to what you're capable of doing. So I call it Prism AI. If you have personalized recommendations to inspire subject mastery, if I give you advice as an entrepreneur, Pace, and I have input and you don't, and I don't have Includer, all my advice for you will be wrong. It'll work for me naturally.
Yeah.
I used to teach entrepreneurship and internet marketing for 4 years at BYU and Utah Valley. And I was just teaching everyone, do what I did.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you think. You just like, this is how you succeed as a tech entrepreneur.
And they're taking notes.
They're taking notes, and then they try it and they're like, oh crap, I suck.
Yeah.
And in fact, I will never coach or mentor anyone now without knowing their top 5. Your activator developer combination is awesome, because activator is not a execution theme where you go to get something done. It's an influencing theme where you influence other people, but you're combining that with your developer. You want to develop people.
Yeah.
You get deep satisfaction when people grow. And developers in my bottom 10 and includers at the very bottom, and empathy's 33. So, you guys probably have
because the activator
empathy
thing,
high.
I'm like, it bothers me if like I'm in a training call and these clients can't get the results they pay for. Like like I go to bed bothered, and I'm like, how do I help them?
Well, it's obviously why you
this?
develop
Do you
the
see what
app.
I'm saying?
100%.
Like it's like, how do I do this? So like, I'm always like, I always feel like I have to solve the puzzle. Like even before I go to sleep, like I'll just sit there till 3 a.m. and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I can't like keep
I
functioning
imagine you
without
probably have
that.
some of the same ones I have if you're in education.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there willing to take people that are in these situations and you get obsessed with their problem.
Yeah, I have to solve it for them.
You have to solve it.
Yeah.
And more importantly, like we track our success rate. So we go, all right, average success rate of like a real estate course, which I don't believe I'm a course, but is like 6%. Our success rate is over 87%.
Amazing.
But why is that? Every day I wake up, much like Jeremy, and I go, how do I get to 88%? Yeah. Oh, well, I need in real life experience stuff. So something we just did. And this is why when I shook your hand today, I was like, I am a big fan of yours. And I know like some of the books that you're into and all of that kind of stuff. The Clifton Strengths Test is now something we are requiring our members to take on the front end.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Because now we can throw it into ChatGPT, or you can throw this even into, what you guys are building and say, based on how I naturally show up in the world, please bring up words and activities and things that I will naturally want to do.
That is so perfect.
So it already
your
works with
87%
where
could
you're
go to
going.
99% because the thing is, most of us give advice to people and it backfires. It's the wrong thing for them. So if you're doing what you're talking about, then all the advice, it's like not only easy, but fun and fulfilling, because that's what they're naturally good at. You quoted Shakespeare about know thyself. Didn't he also say, to thine own self be true?
Yes.
And if thou art true to thine own self, you can't be false to any man. Like we need to do what God designed us to do. And if we're not, something's going to be off. You're both pursuing careers that play to your strengths.
Well, it's like you got to put the horse blinders on, but if you don't really know, like, that's why I would say you want to do something that you're passionate about and make that into your strength, whether it's real estate, sales, whatever it is. You do that one thing and you put horse blinders on it because it's something you were gifted naturally, but it's like the parable of the seed, like you plant the seeds. Most people don't grow that talent, so they never become really that great.
Have you ever asked people, hey, describe me, and they had to stop and think about it?
Ask them to describe themselves?
You. Like, hey,
Have
mom,
people describe me?
Hey, sweetheart, hey, kids, how would you describe me?
My dad encouraged all of his students to do that. I don't think I've done it very much. I'm not that.
You're not a great includer.
I have my kids. I have my kids do it all the time.
But I got.
You do.
I got
for sure. For you.
So I want to see how they view me, because when you're in your own head, you view yourself as this certain thing, right? We all have. That's what we do.
Give me some insight on this.
I got a 360 degree analysis, and I was mad for like 10 years. I did a 360 survey, and I had 12 people inside of Ancestry give me feedback. I was so mad.
Yeah.
What was the feedback?
There was off the charts genius feedback, visionary feedback, and then he can't stick with a plan. It was all this negative stuff. I was below average in the ability to execute on a plan. And I thought to myself, none of you would be here if I couldn't execute on anything. So anyway, I was mad and defensive.
I could see myself getting defensive too,
I
especially
didn't
like
take it well.
From visionary standpoints. Like even the launching of your guys' new technology is not the plan. It is part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's
where
just a piece of the
people
plan.
that don't have visionary tendencies, they see, okay, this is the thing we're working on. It's like, no, it is the step we are walking on to get to the next thing. So it's like, even you talked about roadmap. A good visionary has a roadmap of 5, 6, 7 years. Like Jeremy's talking about, like, well, it's not just salesperson.
Yeah.
It's also the mother that can't communicate with her daughter because her daughter's now 16 years old.
Then you have to have the operators that make the plan reality.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, you're changing the plan. No, I'm not changing the plan. I'm expanding the plan because now we're capable of doing so. This was already part of the plan. I could see how I'd get upset.
Yeah.
Give me insight on what your kids say.
So like I might ask my oldest daughter, Cammie, you know, I had her when I was like 21. Hey, how do you view me? Like overbearing. You're just overbearing sometimes. Like you want to like, you know, teach me a certain way. And sometimes I just put up the guard and I just don't want to hear it anymore. And sometimes you're just overbearing because you feel like you really need to understand this. So sometimes overbearing. And it's different because like when I was in sales, I would never get that. But sometimes when you're in sales and you're in like sales mode all the time, and then when you go home, it's like you flip a different switch. You like have to get out of that mode for a while and you start to lose some of those communication skills that you're so good with the prospect. That's what I would find when I was in sales. And then I would come home and maybe with one of my kids, I'd be a little bit short or defensive. And I'm like, wait a minute. I teach it like I would not do this with a prospect. I would show more concern right there. And with Cammie, maybe I was a little bit defensive that I didn't want her wearing that outfit to school or something. Right. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we just don't really think about that. And it's good to get other people's feedback. I always say constructive feedback. Like one thing that we do in our company is we send out surveys all the time to our clients, asking them, you know, what are the best parts of the training? What are parts that they don't understand? And what are the parts that they feel like we need to be better at? And sometimes the artist doesn't like to hear the feedback, but I'm always like, okay,
how dare you?
There's something that I'm training here that they're not grasping. So what it tells me is I need to go back in and we change that or re-record it, or I go in and do like a 5-minute explanation to explain it better. But that's what I always say. The biggest problem in sales is the problem you know you have.
Yeah.
So like I'm always like, I want feedback because if I don't get feedback, I can't get to the highest level. And I think great visionaries are like that.
Do you find your roadmap is going to include personal relationships like the mother-daughter scenario, father-son scenario in the next 12 months?
We do. Maybe not 12 months. There's, you know, the funny thing is we have clients that will get on a training call or they'll send in a thing and they'll do a testimony like, hey, not only am I closing more deals, but like I saved my marriage. Yeah. But do we go in there and be like, hey, say this in a concerned tone when your wife asks you this? Don't use the word, you know, like, hey, honey, how do I look in this dress? Oh, you look great, but I don't like the shoes. Well, that just negated everything you just said. We don't necessarily say it like that, but they see the principles and the concepts from the training. They apply it to their personal life. But with AI, we will expand that.
I mean, I guess there's also an advantage of going business to business right out of the gate. It's just a better marketplace. There's you know, people know they need the help, right? Yeah. They have metrics and things that they're measuring inside their sales organization saying, if we could implant this technology that Jeremy and Paula built, we could expand and we could measure that. Whereas going and marketing that to individual human beings, it's going to be challenging.
Yeah. We do have in the Sorei studio, we have a platform called citizenportal.ai that's transcribing every public meeting in the United States and writing hundreds of thousands of news stories a month so that everyone knows what's going on at your school board, at your local city council, your state legislature. So we already have that. It's had 2 million visits so far this year. And Citizen Portal is being followed by Faith Portal to transcribe millions of sermons, and Family Portal and Friend Portal. So as those portals come out, which are B2C, we could work with Jeremy and the team on training on communication and effectiveness and tone. So I think there will be, I don't know if it's a 12-month time frame, but for sure what our studio is building will intersect beautifully.
Like when I started
with
7th level,
training.
I never started it to be like, I just want to start something and make a lot of money. I started it as like, here's our foundation. It's going to take us 5 years to get where we're at. And I feel like we're there.
Yeah.
Now, like I'm always like that. I'm thinking like the next 5 years, but I always have the long-term vision. Like the company will be here long after I'm gone. Right. If that makes sense, because we're building something that, you know, once I get, I mean, we're uploading, I probably do 20 new hours of training a week times 4 weeks a month, times 12 months a year. You're talking like almost 9,000 more hours every year that we're going to keep uploading into AI. So it just keeps getting smarter and smarter.
And what's interesting too, I think about this is that there's things that you've had to answer 10,000 times. And you've had to been like Adele, like pretend like you're singing Set Fire to the Rain for the first time every time you're on Caesar's stage, right? So, and you have to perform. Versus you have also grown as a human being, and there's probably things you want to start teaching about, but then you have a student comes and asks a question that you answered literally yesterday, but they didn't go pull the. I deal with this all the time.
Well, yeah, we all do.
And I'm like,
I just
take a deep breath.
That's in module 17.
Yeah.
You just got to go through the course. It's all right there.
But they don't want to watch pre-recorded stuff. That what they want is a conversation where somebody spoon feeds it to them, which is what this technology is going to do.
Yeah,
Let me aggregate and collect all the data, give you exactly what you're looking for, and I'll
answer automatic.
And then I'll reference it probably with the video link of like, this is where Jeremy talked about this in depth. If you want to go and watch that instead of a podcast or something.
100%.
The beautiful thing that will happen as Jeremy scales up the AI and all these sales people get training and then feedback is that we're building systems that'll be invisible to most users, but we'll track your proficiency on every single principle that Jeremy teaches.
Yeah.
So we'll meet people where they are, we'll see where they are, and we'll upgrade them bit by bit. You got to start with the simple concepts, and then you can add the advanced. And so that kind of personalized tracking is context that will exist. The more you use the system, the more helpful it will be to level you up. And it won't repeat instructions. If you've already 99% of the time you're doing this right, it'll help you go to the next thing. So
it grades each level of the sales conversation, from the start of the connection phase to finding out their situation, to building the gap, problem awareness, to getting them future pacing. What happens once they, get rid of the house and can move with their kids in Iowa or whatever, and the close and the presentation. It gives you a grade. Now, on the user side, if it's an individual salesperson, it gives them a different grade that is more positive. It's not like A, B, C, D, F, right? On the management side, so let's say your company looking at your metrics, it'll give a grade that just the management sees, like A to A minus, B to B minus, all the way down to F. On the student side, it just goes down to C, because we don't want them, like if you're getting a new salesperson with a bunch of Fs, they just feel demoralized. Do you know what I'm saying? So it goes all the way from A plus to I think C minus is what we have there. But it shows like, hey, you're really doing better in this area, like the connection, you're getting their guard down. The problem is your questions are too surface level here. When you ask this question, you should ask this question.
Have you brought this up to Josiah yet, my partner?
No, I haven't. No.
You launched this thing and you didn't text me.
Here's something I've learned. And I has anybody ever heard of Machiavellian?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people don't know who Machiavellian is. Okay. So I'll spare you the details, but Machiavellian talks about, this is back in the 15th century in Venetian and Florentian politics in Italy. You never reveal what you're going to do until you do it, right? And I think a lot of the greats are like that, because when you reveal what you're going to do months out and you start talking about it all the time, it gives all your competition time to do what? Prepare. Yeah. And so the greats like Jeffrey Bezos, like all of them, they just do it. Like Apple, like it just happened. Yeah. And now everybody's reacting in the marketplace. So just a Machiavellian principle. You never reveal till boom, the day of.
I love that. Okay, so Clifton strengths. What are your top 5?
Learner, input, ideation, intellection, and strategic. And my 6th is analytical. My top 6 are all strategic thinking themes. I'm just in my head all the time.
This makes sense why you don't stop. You're thinking 20 years in the future.
But why am I not an academic? Well, the answer is my 7, 8, and 9 are competition, activator, and achiever. Like I have to win and I have to act and I have to accomplish.
More entrepreneurial.
It's way more entrepreneurial. If I didn't have those 7, 8, and 9, I probably would have been happy as a librarian or as a professor for, being in an ivory tower my whole life, just learning.
So true.
You could literally change people's lives if you could convince the entire population to take a Clifton Strengths test and understand where you're going to be better. Like even as a salesperson, like this is, maybe it's even understanding what industry you should jump into, because we know sales is where everybody makes the most money.
It's what you're passionate about. Like, let's say that you had like your parent like die and you were younger and they didn't have a life insurance policy, and you and your mom were like, had to go sell the home and like move in with your in-laws. You might be passionate about like selling life insurance to protect families from going through that. Right. So you do what you're passionate about because you have that certainty in it, and then you learn the skills around it. That's what because when reps always ask, like, what industry should we be in? The industry you're the most passionate about, and then you learn the sales skills around that. That's what I always say, because it's not about making money. Like money will only take you so far, that drive. It's like the mission behind the money. That's
Don Clifton.
That's what caused you to get up every day and do it.
One of the chapter titles in his book, Soar With Your Strengths, says, strengths develop best in the framework of mission. as he interviewed life insurance salespeople, the very best ones were doing it because they were wanting to provide peace of mind and safety and protection to people that were going through loss. They believed that. They believed
yes,
it. And it was their mission. It wasn't, I'm going to be a great salesperson.
I'm just going to make some money.
Yeah. It was a mission. So he also said that strengths only develop in relation to another human being. He said everyone should have a board of directors, like people you ask to guide and coach you throughout your life. So Don's book covers all the building blocks of a fulfilled great life. And to your point, if a billion or billions of people took the assessment, that would be a good start. But the rest of his teachings need to be fully lived out in people's lives so that they don't just learn their strengths and put it in a drawer, but they actually do the things he said, including celebrating achievement. Mm-hmm. That's one of the chapters. Sometimes people don't pause to celebrate their achievement.
Yeah, this guy has the striver's curse right here. I also have the striver's curse. Like no matter what you accomplish, I'm like, I know nothing. I've done nothing.
I call it the Heisman Trophy winner because I always make fun of people like, oh, you're talking about when you won the Heisman Trophy. Like nobody cares. It's like, what are you doing today in the NFL?
Right.
Like, it's all about where you're at now. Like I don't care. I threw 6 touchdown passes last week. It's what are you throwing this week?
100%.
Yeah. But Don has ideas for that on how to do that right. So anyway, I just think he was the greatest.
You're turning 60.
I'll be.
Are
60.
you even in your 40s, young man?
Yeah, I'm 48.
How do you look
so you look way
good
than that?
I eat a lot of blueberries.
It must be. Legit, I do too, bro.
I legitimately eat a lot of blueberries.
I love blueberries.
How old are you?
42.
Okay. We have a curse in my family. Like most of the men.
You look 36.
Most of the men in my family look 10 years younger. Like my dad's in his early 70s. You'd think he's maybe 55.
Wow. Okay, so
like
you're
there's no gray hair.
Soon.
You're much older than me, and you're much older than probably the majority of my audience. My audience is like 21 to 35-year-olds is 60% of my audience. Okay, so I look at a guy like you. They're going to look at you the same way. You've lived multiple lifetimes. I mean, think about it. You've reinvented, maybe in your mind, you haven't reinvented because you focused on your strengths, even though the arena that you've operated in has changed, you have been operating in your strengths. Same thing with you. It's like, oh, wait, I didn't know you were an AI developer. I thought you were a sales coach. I thought you were this, that, and the other.
It's just the tool.
Right. It's the arena that you go from, but you're using the same strengths all the way through. Mm. Have you ever had identity crisis? Like let's say Ancestry, when that chapter closed and you move on to the next chapter, did you ever have an identity crisis? Like, wait, that's who I was. And did you ever struggle with going, well, the thing I built is who I became?
I don't think so. I think I was always, I've got futuristic in my top 10. So I think I was always wired to say, what's next? And while I had severe disappointments of losing control of things or having products I built that got shut down, which was devastating. MyFamily.com could have been Facebook scale today if the investors hadn't shut it down and turned it into a paid only site. I mean, it was a OG social network for families and extended family. Anyway, that's a hard one. And I've never gotten over the fact that other people shut it down. Why? Because I didn't strategically set up a company structure with super voting rights. And so I think what I've done is I haven't had an identity crisis. I've always been saying, what's next? And what can I learn from my past mistakes that I can avoid those mistakes in the next one?
But this is natural to you in your top 10, right? Like you can overcome these things easier than most people.
Well, I just know what my strengths are and I lean into them.
Yeah.
But I think everyone has strengths they can lean into. And it's
what are some strengths you should avoid as Paul Allen?
Strengths that I should avoid? What do you mean?
What are your bottom that you're like, I'm not going to focus on growing those?
Well, restorative people love to find problems and fix them. I avoid problems. I just naturally don't like problems. I have maximizer is my number 11.
Restorative. Let's see. Okay, that's 30 for me.
Okay, so you don't have the issue. You don't love to find problems and fix them and focus on fixing and get energy from fixing them. Empathy, includer, developer. I don't know. I don't really think about what I don't have. I just basically focus on what strengths I do have that I can leverage for the situation that I'm in. Strategic is a good one. You've got it. And you do see several moves ahead on the chessboard. And you're always looking for, so people with strategic, they hate long-term plans that don't allow you to adjust. They love making mid-course corrections because if new data comes in, your strategy changes.
Yeah.
It's like you call an audible
Yeah.
And so strategic people, but sometimes strategic people deal with people who have consistency and they want to do the same thing over and over again. And so you have to realize, what mindset you have and why you have it. And then you've got to work with other people who don't have that same mindset. But I don't know. I've loved my career. I was an accidental entrepreneur, like I said at BYU 10 years ago. But I'm so excited to be alive in the era of AI, the era of intelligence, where anyone can have PhD level or super intelligence at your fingertips for navigating any of life's concerns and problems, health, fitness, legal issues, relationship issues, workplace. Like each of us is about to have unprecedented access to knowledge and advice that's personalized to us.
Well, that's, I think, the key to what you guys are actually doing is like, if you go to ChatGPT right now and you ask it questions as Jeremy Miner, you're going to read it and you're going to, nope, I wouldn't do it this way.
No, because it's, first of all, they don't have a license with our paid training for clients, which is completely different than like basic YouTube videos or an IG reel. So, and the problem with ChatGPT, from what I understand from you guys, you're so smart, is that they might say, how would Jeremy disarm a prospect in this industry? Well, that word disarm, they'll not only pull like some free content of mine where I talk a little bit about it. There's no context before or after it, but also pull like another sales trainer that says disarm as well.
Yeah.
And it mixes it together. And so you're getting a kabobble things. Because when I look at, I would type it in and be like, I don't even say that. Like literally like 80% of what it just said, I would say, I don't even say it in ChatGPT.
It's probabilistic, it's stochastic or random. It's not deterministic. So what we want is a Jeremy AI that is deterministic, that it's going to answer the question the same way, accurately based on what from his words, rather than probabilistic. Oh, this word could follow this one. The generation of AI language is so fascinating because it was slow at first. Remember when they first came out with ChatGPT and it just kind of slowly, because it was thinking about what word goes next. It didn't know at the beginning what it was going to say.
Right.
Yeah.
But with an AI that has a search engine and retrieving of what Jeremy has taught, it can be much more accurate.
This is what you're going to start seeing,
true.
I think, in AI that's going to outpace ChatGPT and Grok, all that stuff, is that you're going to have individual like AIs like this. So like I was interviewing Donald Miller, great brand strategist and stuff. And he has one, storybrand.ai. And he's like, yeah, because people go to ChatGPT, ask me like, how would he, do this hook for this ad? And it would come up with something. He's like, I've never even said that.
Yeah.
But if you go to storybrand.ai, it's going to say exactly word for word because it's only bringing up his training, his words. It's not mixing them with other people that
it's also even like, let's just say that you told ChatGPT only pull Jeremy Miner's YouTube content. Okay. Here's why that's problematic. Because YouTube is designed to tease people's brain to keep them watching. It's more entertainment than education. And it's like, I need to get the views up. I need to get the hook right. I need to do this, this, and this. But that's more entertainment than it is education. Meanwhile, when you're in a private setting where people are not in there to be entertained, they're actually in there to change their lives. The context and the breadth that you can give this idea is an hour and a half long to one person's question.
Yeah, you have to know the context.
And you've done it thousands of hours, so many times in these private Zooms that you would never put on YouTube. And the reason why, not because you're a gatekeeper, but because people won't watch it.
They won't understand it.
They won't watch it. They'll go, if I go put a full seller call on YouTube, people go, oh, that looks hard. And they click off of it. So what do I do instead?
They don't understand it.
They don't understand it. And they go,
know the context behind it.
Then I go do something like, oh, here's how I bought this airplane with creative finance. And people, it's entertainment and the plane looks cool and whatever else. I'm like, okay, it got 300,000 views. Great.
It's great, but they're not even going to be able to master what you just did in that YouTube video. It's not like they're going to be able to go do what you just said to do because they don't understand the ins and outs.
My point is your Instagram, your YouTube, your TikTok, all of your organic content out there.
Sure.
ChatGPT is being trained on entertainment, not on actual education.
100%.
The full context is behind your private training where your people...
it's the client training.
It's the client
It's
training.
just 10 times more advanced. It's industry specific. We have thousands of
person specific to a
scripts.
specific problem with context of what was going on with the client. Hey, here's what's going on. Here's the actual call. Here's every single thing. And I'm sure you guys have broken down calls. You listen to the call and then you break them down for 45 minutes. You would never put that on YouTube because nobody would watch it.
They wouldn't understand it either. They would, if they're not a client, they wouldn't understand what I was doing. They wouldn't even like, if you're not a client and you understand like, oh, I need to ask like in connection questions, I need to ask these type of questions. Here's the frameworks and here's why.
Right.
And if you don't understand that, you're not going to understand anything after that. It's like,
I would actually even argue that ChatGPT will be problematic for most people because it's giving you generic blanket advice.
Yeah.
It's going to steer you to a generic direction and then you also have no live feedback off of what you're doing.
Yeah. 100%. That's what we're excited. But I really do believe the future of AI is going to go to more individual, like just paste.ai and just paste stuff rather than like a broad range of stuff, because you're going to be very specific, right? And it's only reading your mind. It's not mixing in other people that do real estate with your stuff. And then it's like, it's all over the place. It doesn't make any sense.
So you have to come on my podcast to tell me you launched something. Is that what's going on? Like you can't you just can't text me?
We just did it today.
Okay.
There you go. This is the official launch
of 7Q.ai. How can people get there?
Just go to 7Q.ai and you'll have instructions there. There's different levels you can join where we got to just ask Jeremy feature. You know, you have to come up with like $47 once a month to ask me any question on sales. And then we have others that, you know, just call reviews, all that stuff with that feature. So it's, you know, we made it where really anybody can get it and any company can get it as well. So
we've already heard testimonials from early beta users that it absolutely saved massive sales. Like they had one particularly challenging emotional experience, and it actually told them exactly what to do and how to call and re-engage this client. They saved this. That was $1 million sale, I think.
It's $6 million.
$6 million.
$6 million. It was
really cool how that kind of just-in-time coaching. I think humans all have potential, but we grow line upon line, precept on precept, and just-in-time learning is a thing. And so you go through the training. What percentage of it do you remember and do perfectly after the training? Very little. You might get an exposure to like, this is the expert way to do it. But during the actual day-to-day implementation of it, you're going to forget most of what was taught. If you get feedback and just-in-time learning, your ability to excel in every one of these principles that Jeremy's been teaching, it's going through the roof. So your results will pay for themselves so quickly and you'll never look back.
And you can role play with me.
Yeah. There's a lot of ladies in the audience that wish they could role play with Jeremy Miner. I'm sorry. He's off limits.
Could be trouble. Could be trouble. That's funny.
You guys are freaking awesome.
Appreciate
Took an hour and a half of your day.
Hey, I love the
Thanks,
white hat look. I've always known you from the black.
Black or blue.
Like the black or blue, and I like the white look. It looks pretty cool. It makes you look really darker. Like
everybody kept telling everybody on my team's like, man, you've been.
I'm like, bro, you've been laying out on the beach all day. What's going on?
I think it's got to be the white hat.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so 7Q.ai.
Yeah,
I can go over there right now.
Yeah.
Can I put it into Close, my software for my enrollment team?
Can we put it in Close? I'm assuming we can. We're not the people that do all this stuff, but I'm assuming you can.
You mean integrating it with?
Like your
my CRM. Your CRM. Yeah, we do have some integrations. I don't know if Close is one of them, but it's not that hard to add another.
I can get
CRM.
you the answer. I think it's like 99% of
okay, CRMs. Do not wait to tell me the answer till the next podcast.
We're not the people that do that. I'll find out.
Great.
I'll ask Curtis. I'll ask Curtis. See, I don't even know.
Guys, get over to 7Q.ai. Follow Jeremy Miner on Instagram. He's an amazing person. Also, Paul Allen, this is really cool. I think if anybody,
this guy's a legend.
You are a legend, and I've followed you and been a fan of what you've been doing and building for a long time. If somebody wants to go and take a Clifton Strengths test, and then my belief is they take a Clifton Strengths test, they should go and have a coach.
Yes. Because
somebody needs to decipher that information for you. Do you have a coach? Is it maybe your wife or somebody else that you would advise that they go follow?
There are thousands, tens of thousands of Gallup coaches. I think Gallup's website lists a few thousand of the coaches.
Who's the Jeremy Miner?
Who's the Jeremy Miner of Gallup?
Like if I don't want just a sales coach, I want Jeremy Miner.
It depends on what the purpose of the coaching is. I would say that one of the world's best enterprise strengths coaches. She was at Rackspace for years. Her name's Kathy Kirsten, and she has a podcast called Obey Your Strengths. Not just live your strengths, obey your strengths.
I need to listen to that.
It's amazing. And Graham Weston was the chairman of Rackspace for 17 years. They were the most strengths-based company on the planet for all those years. Every employee, 7,000 employees, had their top 5 strengths on their badge, which was their security badge.
That's freaking
and
cool.
Their offer letters listed your strengths, their onboarding. The entire company was strengths-based. Graham Weston was the first investor in SOAR in 2018. But Kathy Kirsten is brilliant. But there are thousands of great coaches. If anyone wants to reach out to me, paul@soar.com, I'm happy to find out what your need is. And I've got dozens of friends that would love to be your Strengths Finder coach, your Clifton Strengths coach for your family, for your faith group, or for your corporation, because the strengths exist wherever you are, whatever context of life. The New Testament says that the body of Christ is made up of every member, and that the body has need of every member because everyone has a unique gift. Everyone plays a role. So whether it's faith, whether it's workplace, Strengths Finder is a very powerful tool for helping everybody do what they do best and contribute to the whole.
Well, this collaboration was confusing at first. Now it makes a lot of sense what's going on here.
It's going to be a long-term.
I used to when I
fruitful.
worked at Pinnacle and Vivint, I always used to drive by the Ancestry.com building. I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. Full circle, man.
Well, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's so cool that
I had him in my office like 6 months ago. We're signing a deal and stuff, and I'm like, I used to drive by this guy's huge company every day when I was in college.
And now you guys are building stuff together.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's cool. Guys, 7q.ai. Follow both these guys on Instagram. We'll see you in another episode.
One of the most common questions I get is, what title company do I use? What title company am I using in Arizona, Atlanta, California, Texas, whatever? The answer for many years was a different title company in every state, because not every state handles transactions the same way. Now, the answer is one title company. It's Creative Title and Escrow. Go to getcreativetitle.com/podcast. You can learn how they will do sub-2 deals, seller finance deals, cash transactions, gator deals, double close, transactional lending, whatever, even novation agreements. There's really nothing that Creative Title and Escrow can't do. To learn how brand new investors are using Creative Title all the way up to the biggest players in the industry, head over to getcreativetitle.com/podcast.